Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story right now. This happened to me also like in my early 20s. I was surfing and I had a bad habit. At the time I thought it was a good habit. When I'd go down the waves and I would surf, and right when I was getting in the tube, oh shoot, I almost spilled my drink. Right when I was going in the tube, if the tube was closing out, I would throw the boogie board, because I rode a boogie board. I'd throw the boogie board and I'd dive into the wave head first, like this, like a dolphin, and I'd go under the wave, because I'd go full speed and I'd go head first, and then I'd duck into, and then I'd turn into the wave and I'd go under the wave, kind of like dolphins. I don't know if you guys see them, where you see surfing clips where dolphins are riding the waves, and right when the wave crashes, they go underneath. You go underneath because it's like a huge suction. When it's closing out, you don't want to get destroyed. So I would dive into the wave and I would make it to safety. But by doing that, you go really fast, and then but you got to do like a dolphin dive and then come back up. And it never failed. I always, it was my safe escape from like gnarly waves. So I could take off on waves that were even crazy gnarly. And if it ever went bad, I could always throw my board and do a dolphin dive under the wave. One day, it was a gnarly day, and I did the dolphin dive, and I was going full speed. I did a dolphin dive head first, and I hit a reef. I hit the reef. Boom! I came to a full stop. Boom! I hit the reef on the bottom. And it didn't knock me out or anything. It didn't even hurt. All I know is all of a sudden I stopped, and I was like, dude, what the heck? So I came up to the surface, and then I saw blood, and I was like, oh shoot. And I touched, and I felt a hole. It was a hole right here. It was a hole in my head. I was like, oh, no.
Hello once again, Swifty.
So I got out of the water and I drove myself to the hospital. I was full of sand and everything. I drove myself to the hospital. When I got there and I went into the emergency, I went into the front door. Can I help you? Yes, right here. And she went, oh, you can see your skull. Hold on. And then they went to go get me some help. So I went in there, and then they called my mom, and my mom came. I think it was in my early 20s. It might have been like...
Love how you look the exact same 15 years later, LOL.
Hold on. So they had to get a specialist that dealt with that kind of thing. They got me a plastic surgeon. So he looked at it, and it was like all jagged. It was a jagged like crack in my head like this. And then he put on some gloves, and I'm sorry if you're squeamish. He put on some gloves and he spread it apart. And he's like,
Smiling face with open mouth and tightly closed eyes.
He was touching my skull. He was like, yeah, you got a crack there. But the crack is on the outer layer. The skull has two layers, the inner and the outer. Only the outer layer is cracked. So you didn't get any air in there. So that's good. So all we got to do is stitch this up and you're good to go. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I learned something. And then he did a special stitching that didn't require like stitches all the way down, so I wouldn't get a scar. So instead, they did it in a way where the stitching was internal, and then he had only two strings on each side, and he pulled them like really hard, and it all closed. No, he actually cut the skin that was damaged. It was like it looked terrible. He cut the skin that was damaged, and then he tightened it, and it all sealed perfectly, so it didn't leave a scar or anything. It was a plastic surgeon, right? And then he said, the only thing is, when you're older, you probably won't get wrinkles on your forehead. I'm like, well, that's a good thing. So I got plastic surgery when I was in my early 20s. Maybe that's why I look so young.